me among those whom thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what thou hast judged. Surely thou judgest, and none can judge against thee, and he whom thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art thou, O Lord, and exalted be thee above what they set up besides thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides thee. And I bear witness that Muhammad is thy servant and apostle. Amen.
Greetings, supporters. Our new sponsor, Sister Sajdah Muhammad, through her jewelry company, is giving you a free sterling silver chain when you purchase your commemorative Elijah coin pendant. The link is in the bio. Peace and blessings, family. I wanted to personally invite you to join me on September 3rd, 2022 at the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House from 3 to 7 p.m. We're going to be doing a fundraiser for the completion of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House and enjoying these last few weeks of our warm weather. And guess what? It's my birthday. So come on out, scan here to RSVP.
Muslims, you shouldn't be around here looking to white people to give you a job. Go look in message to the black man and the economic blueprint. And if there are 4 of you, 6 of you, 8 of you together, pool your resources, go into business and set up business all over the south and west side of Chicago. But if you poor and we poor, hell man, we can't be around here poor. I want to see rich Muslims. And if you obey Allah, there's no reason why you can't make a business successful. You just have to get up and stop being lazy and trifling and go do something for yourself.
You belong to yourself. You're an independent people, created from the nation of free people. Yes, sir. You don't need to go nowhere but to yourself. Yes, sir. There will be a great separation. Yes, sir. So I said, it is on now.
The college is meant to prepare you for your future. That the time dictates that if we don't do something for ourselves as a people, we will be destroyed. And the aim of the enemy right now is to take us out.
We have God with us. We have Him as our guide. Yes, sir. We don't have to stand around here and ask the question, what must be done? Yes, sir. Get up and let's go and do something. Yes, sir. We cannot sit down. We cannot lay down. Yes, sir. We must get up. Yes, sir. And go to work.
Do you know what real joy is in life? Visioning something and bringing it into reality. That's real joy. Do you know what the next step in joy is? Behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell in unity.
Tonight, you need to fasten your seatbelts. We're going to hear from some of the greatest minds in the world. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of trusting our future and the future of our children into the hands of those who don't love us. I believe we need to revitalize black leadership.
Peace and blessings, family, and assalamu alaikum, and welcome to the Sajdah Saturday morning coffee talks, where we're going to talk about a little life, a little love, and a little business. I am on the road. This time I am on the East Coast in Washington, D.C. So much going on. Let me tell you all, there's something that came to me and it just kept rolling through my brain overnight. And it's something I actually thought about a while ago, but have just been reminded of it the last couple of days. Anyway, how y'all doing? Let me just see how y'all doing. I see everybody in the chat. Cynthia M, Brother Lamont, Sister Betty, Sister Alita, Brother Anthony. Welcome. I don't have any coffee in this room, so y'all know, no coffee, no chai. All I got is this bottled water, although this is really good. I just don't want to really be chugging this in front of you all, so I'm going to pour me a cup of water here. How many of y'all have registered an RSVP for our 24-karat Donate and Sip fundraising and birthday celebration on September 3rd? Let me know in the chat. I see you, Brother Abel. Wa alaikum salam. Let me know if you registered, if you all ready and all set. If you have not joined my mailing list, text do for self. The number's going across the bottom of the screen here. Yep, no coffee, no chai. Very bogus. Yes, I can't wait to give me some coffee and chai. I just can't wait. So anyway, back to what has really been on my spirit. And Allah's just been laying on me heavily the last couple of days. And I just been really quiet, just trying to listen to that. And really, since I realized that he gave me a whole layout after the, yes, I do have coins with me. Always got coins with me. Everything's about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad house. I always got coins with me. Yes, Brother Lamont, I do. Ever since I realized when I went to the Association of African American Museum that the plan that they rolled out in front of us, or that was very obvious, that Allah had actually given it to me. And I just found it interesting. And so I started getting a little quiet to pay attention. And what I also realized is that you know how you look up and the television you have is out of date, or the cell phone you have is out of date? All of a sudden, especially y'all iPhone people, they just make y'all phones mess up because they know then you're going to have to go get a new phone. You know how technology is moving so fast, and at one point we would do things one way and then all of a sudden it changed. Let me know in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. The way technology is moving fast. When I start pulling that together, and I said, okay, nothing happens without God's permission. And if technology is moving fast, then that means that we have to mentally move fast as well. And I think what happens with a lot of us is that we're so busy resisting and trying to slow things down that we don't get the benefit of what is happening in the universe. Let me give you an example. When you're stuck trying to slow things down, when you're stuck trying to plant your feet in the ground so that you don't move as fast, so that you don't change, when you're holding on to old stuff, this is what it's like. We're riding on the earth. Y'all know that, right? The earth is moving at 1,037 1/3 miles per hour, and we're literally riding on it. But because we're up in the atmosphere, we don't feel it. When you're on the plane and you're 20,000 feet up in the air, and the plane is going 500, 600 miles an hour, you can't really feel it. But if you were on the ground and you were going 200, 300 miles per hour, oh, you would feel that. Why? You feel it because the ground has resistance. There's gravity in the ground. And so when I was thinking about that, I said, so what that says to me is that we have to raise our vibrational level and think on a higher level so that we're not jolted and we don't get whiplash by the fast movement of the earth. When you're thinking up here and you're traveling at night mentally, getting new ideas, you're moving on it, things are revealing to you, you don't feel it. But when you're low vibration, when you're down on the ground, when you are trying to resist change, you feel the force of the movement around you. You feel that resistance. All right, so let's talk about what that means practically. See, energy is energy, and energy don't lie. And energy usually is created, not usually, but it's created by something. So if we have certain behaviors, certain ways in which we're conducting ourselves, we can expect the reaction from the universe to be just as fast or even faster than it was back in the day. Back in the day, people didn't have to be as transparent. Things moved a lot slower. Technology wasn't there. Think about it. When they freed the slaves, it almost was a year and a half or so before everybody knew the slaves was so-called free. That's why we have Juneteenth, because it took that long. Nowadays, information is transmitted immediately, quickly, fast. Things spread around because now our economy, as you all hear me talk about, is now a data-based or an information-based economy. So somebody can come out and just say something with their mouth, and they can impact our ability to earn money. They can impact gas prices. They can make changes that have nothing to do with them. When you think about what that means in terms of how we should move forward, not only as a people, but as a group, the power of that unity that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad talked about is even greater now, today. Why? Because that unity creates a certain energy and elevates a vibration and allows you to go faster without that resistance, without the resistance of gravity. And same thing goes to even if we do something wrong. We do things wrong, even if we don't think on the right frequency, even if we're not thinking right, immediately our life circumstances, everything around us begins to adjust to those wrong thoughts or those right thoughts immediately, to the point where you have to be so keen. We have to be so keen of our thoughts. There are times when there's things that I don't necessarily think all the way right about. And so I'll say to Allah, no, I'm not thinking about this right. Let me back up and just go general. Let me just let you know how grateful I am for you. Let me just let you know how thankful I am that you take care of me, that you look out for me. And so I start counting blessings and gratitude. And I don't count gratitude based on what somebody else has, or I don't look at the person and go, look, at least I ain't got that, because that has negative energy in it. I count it based on what I see in front of me and how I know that God has blessed me. Why is that important? Because if my thinking gets off, it's important that I immediately recalibrate myself to something that's going to put me in a better position because everything's moving so fast nowadays. You have people that one day you see them and they could be sick. The next day you see them and they could look better and younger than you. You can see somebody and one day they look overweight. And then it seems like the next day you can see them and they look like a whole different person. You can see somebody today and they may be on drugs and you see the evidence in their physical body of them being on drugs, the evidence of their appearance of them being on drugs. And then the next thing you know, you seem like you see them and they done turn the corner. You don't know who you're looking at and you don't have an idea of just how fast we are moving in this universe today. And so all it takes is for a person to tweak their thoughts. I've been in situations where somebody may have looked at me and thought about me in a certain way. Then they look up and go, wait a minute. So you never know. And you can turn your life around just like that. Y'all know I can't pop my fingers, so I'm gonna mimic, like pretend like I'm popping my fingers. I tell everybody, my husband got to be able to pop his fingers because I can't. Listen, things are moving just like that, just that quickly. And so we have to remember that as we're moving through life, as we're thinking, pay very, very, very fine-tuned, mustard seed grade, granular attention to your thoughts. Because today it's like it's happening immediately. You could be walking and all of a sudden things just start and explode all around you. You can do that for the good and you can do that for the bad. So that's just something that's been heavy on my mind. And so something that I try to do, because none of us are going to think right all the time. None of us are going to have 100% productive thoughts all the time. We have to be able to recognize when we need to tweak, when we need to switch up. And I always tell people, think of it like a GPS system. Sometimes you put an address in the GPS system and maybe your GPS system can't find the address and it gets you lost. And maybe it has you going around and around and around in a circle. And maybe it takes a minute and you don't even know that you're going around in the circle. Soon as you know and become aware that you're going around in the circle, what do? You generally then pull back and put the cross streets in the GPS. You go general. You pull back and you go general. You stop going, okay, let me get specifically to that specific address. And you say, wait a minute, I'm lost. Let me get to a cross street, either that I recognize or where there's something that I can find that maybe I can ask somebody for specific directions on how to get to this specific location. Maybe it's a new address. Maybe it's something that's too specific for your GPS system. So you pull back, you go general. You do the same thing with your thoughts. When you're focused on something, you're focused on your business, you're focused on your children, you're focused on your husband, you're focused on your wife, you're focused. I want this, I gotta have this, I gotta get this gotta happen, gotta get this new house, gotta get this new car, gotta get this new job, gotta get this new contract, I gotta get it, I gotta be like this person, I'm competing against that person, blah, 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 blah. And we're just going. And then we wonder why we feel like we're on a little bit of a hamster wheel. The idea is to pull back, move around a little bit, and go general. How do we go general? Go right to your gratitude space. This is these fine-tuned levels of manifestation. Just go back to your gratitude. It doesn't mean that the circumstances around you will change immediately, but I would tell you that most often it means that they will change soon. And when they will change very, very drastically. So you want to make sure you go to your gratitude space. I tell people all the time, if you need money and you're having a hard time, your business isn't growing, it's really difficult, go around your house or go take inventory of your life and count the blessings of the other things that you've been able to manifest through your alignment with Allah. If you don't have a lot of things, or you need additional things to be grateful for, go out in nature. Go out in the yard. Thank him for the birds. Thank him for the blades of grass. Thank him for the sun. Thank him for the clouds. Thank you for the people who put paint on the walls. Thank you for the person who made this furniture. Thank you for the person who designed this cell phone that I use to reach out. Thank you for the person who designed this technology that allows me to come on the line to you all every Saturday. Thank you to the person who sold me this Holy Quran, or who created this green covering on it. Thank you to the person who made this cup and put this cup in this hotel room. Thank you for the person who bottled this water and sold this water. Thank you to the person who made this tam. Thank you to the person who made this bracelet. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So keep in that space and take yourself kind of on that gratitude journey or gratitude rampage for at least 60 seconds or so. And next thing you know, you're going to change your vibration. And again, like I said, don't change your vibration. So don't do the 60 seconds and then take score. Meaning don't just go on a rampage. Thank you. Thank you for this chain. Thank you for this caftan. Thank you for this iPad. Thank you for this. Thank you for that. Thank you for the light. Thank you for the air condition. Thank you for the television. Thank you for the cups, right? Thank you for the airplane that got me here. Thank you for the airplane that's taken me home. Thank you for my feet. Thank you for my legs. Thank you for my spleen. Thank you for my heart. Thank you for my brain. Thank you for my eyes. Thank you for my skin. Thank you for my heritage. Once you go down that road and you start being grateful and sitting in that gratitude space and recalibrating yourself, don't come out of it and look around and go, nothing ain't changed. I'm still in the same old raggedy place. Don't mess your energy up like that. So don't come out of that sort of talking and moving gratitude space and take score. In fact about it, you want to stop taking score as much as you possibly can. This is what we do a lot, because once we are trying to do something, we start looking around at the next person. We do this a lot as women. I look better than her. She's a little chunky. She's a little dark. She's a little light. She's a little skinny. She don't know how to dress. She don't wear the right clothes. Look at her lashes. Look at her brows. Look at her lips. Look at her hair. What's that around her neck? We talk. We talk this smack, and what we're doing, we could have had the most beautiful meditation and prayer. And you come up out of that and start taking score and comparing yourself to someone else. What are you doing? You're changing your energy. And let me say this as women, because there's so much out here now where people are starting to tell women, make sure you dress modestly. Make sure you cover up. I noticed in the airport, it's like everybody with a BBL ain't got no clothes on. So people going to get fake breasts, fake backside, and they all in the airport with just broad top and tights on. And I just looked and I said, I guess we just decided as Black women that we just weren't gonna wear no clothes no more. That's the only thing I can think of. Because out of 10 Black women in the airport, I'm gonna say 7 of them ain't got no clothes on. When I say no clothes on, I'm talking about maybe just a broad top, some flip-flops, and some tights. Like it's really crazy out here, and everybody is doing what they see on television and showing their body and all of that stuff. And then you can see the women comparing themselves to each other. So this woman ain't got no clothes on and she struts past the sisters like, yeah, I'm stunting on these chicks. Look at this. Brothers ain't even looking. They ain't even paying attention. The men in their iPads, they reading a book, they sleep. They ain't even looking. But the women are running around competing against one another. From everything we wear, I'm gonna dress better than this person. I look better than that person. And it's interesting, and we have to be very careful of this, especially as MGT. Because as women, we think, okay, if I dress a certain way, if I dress modest, because I go to church or I go to the mosque and I dress a certain way, I'm better than that sister. Or sometimes we think, I dress a certain way, so let me raise my voice a couple octaves. Let me start talking really softly because this makes me seem like I'm feminine. You can do all of that. You can dress in lace. You can be naked. If your energy is masculine, you're masculine. Let me tell you something. Let me give y'all a little hint. I know 70% of my followers are men, so it's probably not that many sisters gonna hear this. Let me give y'all a little hint. When you have a strong, divine, feminine way of doing things, men can't resist it. They can't resist. But so just because you take your clothes off, if you still have masculine energy, what's masculine energy? All that aggression, all that competing, all that, I'm going to put this body in your face and you're going to look at it, all that masculine stuff. I'm going to compete against this man. I'm better than him. I'm going to show this man I can be better than he is. This is even what we do in corporate world. I want to show the men that I'm better. And so you start to produce this masculine energy through your competition, through your aggressiveness, because you want to show that you're powerful and you're in charge. And then all of a sudden, even though you dress nicely, you have very male, masculine, aggressive energy. And then you wonder why the brother go get with the chunky sister that you thought you was better than, the older sister that you thought you was better than, the shorter sister that you thought you was better than. Why he go get with her? Because the divine feminine into him, in her, moved something in his spirit. It didn't have anything to do with how she looked. Had everything to do with the divine energy inside of her, her divine feminine, that literally moved his spirit. One of the things that I learned early on in corporate, and I'm grateful for this, and I know that it couldn't have been something that I figured out on my own. It had to be something that Allah gave me, because I figured out that the way to success was to not act like a man. See, when I was in corporate, that was the thing, and even still now, a lot of times, I think, really to be honest with you, until President Obama's wife, First Lady Michelle Obama, started at least just coming out in public wearing dresses, and being a power woman, because there were other first ladies before her that dressed feminine, like Jacqueline Onassis and people like that. But she was a power woman, or she is a power woman as an attorney and a healthcare executive and a first lady, a global thought leader. She's a power woman, but she would always dress in a more feminine way. And that kind of started the trend of women changing the way they dress. But prior to that, it was about just wearing the female version of the male uniform. So it was wearing, that suit, but the woman's suit version of it. It was mimicking the behaviors that we saw men exhibit in the corporate world, being very masculine, knowing when to do things. And then even to the point where, a lot of people who are really old school, they look at women who can make things happen as being masculine. And that's a trick bag too, because especially Black women, we've been making stuff happen since we got here. Since we got on the earth, but especially since we got into this country, we've been making stuff happen. So when they start to say, well, that's not really cute, that's not really divine, that's not really sexy, that impacted us as well. But something I figured out early on is, I remember sitting in a room, in a meeting, a conference room with a bunch of men. And I had on my blue suit and my white shirt. And I remember saying, I'm not going to be successful trying to be something other than myself. I have to be me. I have to be my own authentic self. And it was during that stint of road trips, because I was always on the road as a consultant. During that stint of road trips, I remember going out to Boston because there was a company that was going through a merger, and they had put me on the merger. And it was so snowy and so cold in Boston. It was so snowy and so cold in Chicago. I couldn't get back and forth. And so in that hotel room, I started creating the Authentic You podcast because I wanted to go deeper into what it meant to be myself. And what I started to realize was that I was off. And so I started to slowly but surely start to become myself. I started to change the way I dress. I started to find things that I could wear that represented more of who I am. I became very conscious of making sure that whatever I wore represented me. I didn't want to be a church lady. I don't want to be the smartest lost found in the room, because at the end of the day, I'm going back to my room with my travel Quran, and I'm in there studying and reading and praying, and then suppressing it when I go out. And I'm not saying you have to wear your religion on your sleeve. I'm talking about mental and emotional suppression. And so I started to really learn and study how to be me and discover who I am and acknowledge how Allah dealt with me. And the first thing I discovered about myself was that the sensitivity in me that I didn't like about myself, because I was the kind of person, I could not stand the fact that I would be so severely impacted by what somebody else would say. And I would react incorrectly. I realized it was a gift. And I said, you know what? The fact that you can sit down at the table and see what other people can't see. The fact that you can have a conversation and hear what other people can't hear. The fact that you can look at a strategic plan and put together a project with levels of detail that other people can't even imagine is a salute to your sensitivity. And if you don't embrace that, you're throwing away one of your superpowers. And I say the same thing to all of you. Study how God handles you. How does he come through you? How does he show up on the planet through you? And study that, and you'll realize, ooh, this is one of my authentic powers. You have more than one superpower. You have more than one purpose for being here. God can use you in whatever way that he wants to use you. But start to study that and start to understand how he handles you. And so that was probably the first thing that I started to discover. And then I started to discover different things about myself. And then I got so into studying myself and creating goals based upon who I am that I knew then that I started elevating, right? So now he can move me a lot faster. Why? Because there's less resistance. I'm not on the ground anymore trying to go 500 miles an hour and catching whiplash because I'm going too fast. I'm up 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 feet in the air going 500 miles an hour, and I don't feel it. And so I can be there and float and create and manifest at that level. And I started really practicing that and being very conscious of that. In my hotel rooms, just like this, as I was traveling, I still do it to this day. And I started watching the massive amount of manifestations that started coming to me. But I had to let go of being safe. I had to let go of holding on to the ground, going, oh, I don't want to go too fast. I'm scared. I had to take it up to the edge. And as I started doing that, then it was like I was orbiting through space and Allah could move me around. And then I started to realize not only are there levels to this, but it changes. So there may be some subjects where you play it safe, and there may be other subjects where you're comfortable with letting go. And so I had to learn how to apply those techniques, and I'm still learning how to apply those techniques to different subjects, different scenarios, different things. And interestingly enough, sometimes what Allah will do is he'll take you back to the place that scares you, which then will give you the impulse to ground yourself. And that's not what he wants. Go back to the place that scares you and allow yourself to be lifted and elevated. And that's through acknowledging ourselves, not holding ourselves back, not making an excuse and competing against other people and taking score because we really just want to be better than them. We don't want to be way up here. Does that make sense to y'all? Talk to me in the chat. Brother Abel said absolutely powerful. Brother Andy said beautiful narrative. I hope you all got that. Sister Aletha said yes. That's higher level, higher vibrational thinking, moving to a whole new level of thinking and being, right? Because you have to be what you want. Here's another little hack. Here's another hack. You know how you have a desire? You have something in your heart that you may want. Learning the difference between a desire that's placed there by Allah and one that's there to keep you safe or a result of some deviant thinking. That's another challenge. So dissecting your desires. Because when you have a desire for something big, I've always wanted to own a hotel with a spa. The spa came later, but I always wanted the hotel. Since I was a little girl, I remember going with my family. We went to Kansas City and stayed in a hotel, and I remember thinking, I want one of these. And I don't know what would possess a 12, 13-year-old girl to want a hotel, but I can honestly say that it could very well have been something from Allah. It could be the precursor to something else. And then here lately, people have been coming up to me and speaking and awakening that desire. I was at Power Networking Conference, and I think it was Linda Clemens who was talking to me. She started talking to me about massage envy. And I was telling her how I had learned that industry and that now I really want to move into doing a really high-end wellness spa and something that's more than just basic massages and facials, but something that is a really healing space that has a spiritual element to it. And she said, are you going to put your hotel with it? I was like, here's this hotel again. I was in another meeting with someone and they said to me, they asked me, they said, do you know any hotels that are for sale? I was like, here we go again. I was on the plane and this guy said to me, he said, do you own a hotel? I can't make this stuff up. And I said, okay, you telling me something, Allah. So I'm going to keep my eyes open and you know I'm trying to finish the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's house. So I'm assuming that you're saying that's done. Start thinking about the next thing. But it's just an example of one of those desires that just won't let you go. That wellness center, that hospital piece, the hotel piece, those are desires that I have that won't let me go. I love beautiful real estate. I love exciting real estate. I love purposeful real estate. And even down to a business that I'm about to develop, it's like Allah won't let me alone about it. Do this, do that. It's like I could be sitting up and they'll say, call the people, double check. So I'm saying that to say that when we start to explore those higher levels of thinking, we put ourselves in a position where Allah can speak to us. And I'm going to say this one last thing. And this may be something that a lot of people listen to this may not be able to connect with. A lot of you who are not maybe members of the Nation of Islam may not connect with. I don't know, but I'm gonna say it. It's important for us to begin to practice these higher levels of thinking so that we can be free from dogma, because just like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad made his transition in 1975, many of you hear us say he lives, because we do believe that he's alive. And we don't, most of us don't care if you believe it or not. You could think we're crazy. You can say, I'm with you up until that point. He ain't alive. He is. You stick around, you'll see. There's a couple books out that you could get that will show you that truth. In that departure, in that leaving, when they're gone away, they have to be able to communicate with the people who are still here. And I always think of the concept, which is always one of the first things that I would teach when I was teaching orientation, and I teach it now to people. I'm forever the orientation teacher, is that God came to make himself known. Type that in the chat. God came to make himself known. It is his desire to make himself known. He makes himself known through nature, through his creation. So when the minister said on the criterion that we have to go back to nature, going back to that creativity, is one of the ways that God makes himself known. He came to make himself known. And then the messenger said, how else will he be made known unless those of us who know him, except through those of us who know him? What does all that mean? And I'm going to say this to you, whether you believe the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is alive, whether you will believe that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan will transition, but not in death. Whether you believe that or not, let me get you to practicing this vibration, that God wants to be made known. Regardless of what you believe, God wants to be made known. He's going to make himself known through you. Okay? For us as Muslims, when these people make this transition to go get the new book, to go sit at the right hand of the Father, to go do these things that the Bible prophesizes of, they're going to have to send back communication to somebody or somebodies. They're going to have to talk to somebody. So God has to come back through somebody else, because physically we don't see him anymore. Physically, we don't see Allah anymore. Physically. But we see the manifestation of him. We see the proof that he exists. We can prove that he exists through the manifestation in our lives of the answers to our prayers and all kind of things. Most of us shouldn't even be here and wouldn't be here if there was not a God. So in order to allow that God that is unseen, that person that is unseen, to come through you. We have to be functioning at a higher vibrational level, and we got to be able to hear those messages and be a conduit and interpret what they are sending to us in terms of assignments, in terms of how we move, in terms of our decision making, in terms of who we befriend, who we marry, what we do. We have to be open and be open conduits so that we can receive that message. And that's something you can't fake. So I'm saying to us, start practicing now. Whether you believe the way we believe as Muslims in the Nation of Islam, believe this, that you showed up on the planet for a reason. God has something he wanted to communicate that he expressed in a way that is you. And it is your job to tweak yourself and to become the person that God can continue to flow through and use and assign things to on a regular basis. Okay? So don't get caught up in the belief. You don't believe the way we believe. Let us believe what we believe, and then you look at the manifestations and make a decision. But start calibrating yourself too, because when these messages are broadcasted out, whether you're a Muslim or not, you want to be able to receive them. You want to be able to receive those directions, because it's not like God is saying only the Christians will get this message, or only the Jehovah's Witnesses will get this message, or only the Muslims will get this messages. It will be only those who are aligned with him and who have submitted and obeyed him that will get it. And if you're one who obeys God, then you're a Muslim. All right, y'all got me in the church lady mode today. I don't know why. Anissa says, I was in your orientation class. This is the energy that moves us daily. Praise be to Allah. God came to make himself known. Amen. Amen. All right, she said, Sister Felicia said, through us, we can build the new world and new order. Yeah, let me say this when it comes to business too, because there's been so much talk out here on the internet about business and making money and all of this stuff. Listen, you need money. Money can't be your God, but you need it. Okay, well, this is the world we live in. But remember, money is just energy. So money is all about lining yourself up with the source of it and then creating the right behaviors in order to bring it into your life so that you make money through your businesses, through whatever phone calls you make, through whatever work you do, to whatever goods and service and products that you sell. That's the movement. That's the action. Okay. You just have to make sure that in your doing of business that you are aligned with the right thinking and the right vibration. What does that mean? That means that you can't go and mimic what you see in the corporate world, if you will. Bring it over to your community and go, here we go. That's a black business. What you do is you study the successful, great person. You extract from them what is successful, what is good, and what aligns with your belief system. And then you create your own system. See, I believe this new system that we're moving into, this new emerging market, it's not socialist, it's not capitalist, it's not communist, it's not Marxist, it's not any of that. It's new. And it's probably a combination or a culmination of elements from all of those different primary economic thoughts. So allow yourself to move to that next level. Trust me, if Allah knows that he's going to use you, he's going to make sure that you are in the right condition so that he can use you. See, if you're in survival mode, it might be tough for him to use you all the way. If you can't eat, if you starving, if you hurting, if you bleeding, obviously God is God. He's the owner and operator, and he's in control of everything. But it'd be a little harder. So think about this mathematically. if you're following his instructions, if there's a food shortage, but you got food in your pantry, where's your energy? Your energy is not on, let me get my next meal. Your energy is on, let me pray and be grateful. And so that's a different alignment. And now you're going to get, different things from that. Remember this at the end of the day. Allah is the best knower and he's in control. There is no God but Allah. When you get scared, there is no God but Allah. When you get worried, there is no God but Allah. When you get tired, there is no God but Allah. When people hate on you, there is no God but Allah. What do I mean? That fear is not your God. That hate is not your God. Those people coming against you is not your God. That bill collector is not your God. That person who's fighting you is not your God. That person that's abusing you is not your God. Allah is your God. And Allah is just an Arabic word for God. That's who you worship. That's who you go to. You're not a polytheist, and all these little problems and your personality and all this stuff is not what you worship. All right, y'all. I'm gonna get off of here today. So thank you all. You see scrolling at the bottom here, y'all don't chip and dip me. Y'all know how I feel about that. You come on here, you get you some good information. Always be in the circular mode. When you receive, you give. When you need, you give. When you receive, you give. So we're always doing this. We talked about this, remember, on the New Year's Eve manifestation party. We're always doing this. So when you receive something good, if you don't do anything but just say thank you. What I'm saying to you, make a donation, allow us to keep this stream up. Go to Mo Today, MOETODAY, on Cash App, $10, $20, $100, whatever it is that you feel comfortable doing. But get out of the habit of receiving something good and then acting like you stole it or you don't deserve it. Right? It's like you receive something good and you feel like, oh, this secret information, I ain't gonna tell nobody and I ain't gonna give nothing. Open yourself up. So when you receive something good, open yourself up to the abundance that is there for you and give out of what you have, so that the universe will see that open energy and it will match that open energy, and more and more and more will come to you. Okay, so you can do that either by going to Cash App Mo Today and making a donation there, or you can go to SajdahHouseDonations.com. That's going across the bottom there as well. And you can make a donation to support the renovation and restoration of the former home of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Make sure you guys go to Eventbrite, search for 24 Karat, donate and sip, and register for the event on September 3rd. It's going to be a fundraiser / birthday celebration for myself. And the reason why I say that is because I rarely celebrate myself. I'm working to do a better job at being grateful to Allah for all that He has given me and all that He does for me. And I want to celebrate that on September 3rd. So thank you to those of you who have already RSVP'd. It's also going to be a fundraiser. We're just going to have a real classy time, networking and talking. Because see, my gift is that you give to a cause that I care about. Also, my gift is that the two of you all, not the two of you all, but I don't know, maybe that I was supposed to say that, but that we come together and create this ecosystem, this new emerging market. And so I don't want it to be where those of you are out here striving and trying to do things and you're by yourself. There's always somebody you can meet. And even if there's nobody at the event that can specifically help you, I guarantee you there'll be somebody there who will motivate you and excite you and lead you to where your help is. All right. Okay. So peace and blessings, family. Make your donations. Go to Mo Today. Make sure you join the mailing list. You see it scrolling along at the bottom of here, because just in case the internet ain't working or social media act crazy, I can always stay in communication with you all and let you all know what's going on. And if we move to another platform or whatever, you're always there. And make sure you like and subscribe to this page so that we can get up at least to 1,000 followers relatively quickly. Tell somebody else and tell somebody to tell somebody else. But we're going to get there. All right. So peace and blessings, family. I got meetings to go to today. And I'm going to give me some coffee or some chai tea or something because I'm without it this morning. And this ain't doing it. I realize that I love the ceremony of something hot and warm, but this little hotel cup with this water, it ain't doing it today. All right. Peace and blessings, family. I love you all. And I thank you all for your continued support. And do not forget, make sure you register for Donate and Sip and make a donation.